Hello, I'm Mr. Creative, and today we're going to do a review on the Startt 3D printer. So, shipping on this 3D printer actually took forever. They said 2 to 3 weeks, and it actually took about 3 months, 3.5 months actually, and it was pretty crazy. I will say that they did make up for it, because they did send me a full-size spool of green, which is pretty awesome. They actually asked me which color I wanted, so it's pretty awesome. I also had other issues like my extruder head. It actually was clogging repetitively, and I didn't know why, and it was major clogs. It was really bad, and I couldn't figure out why, so I took it apart almost 27 times just to try to figure it out. I had to go so far as to pulling the whole 3D print head apart and actually buying a whole different set of nozzles because I couldn't get the thing to work. I had it operating for 1 week and it stayed going pretty good. I had some really good prints coming off of it. The reason why it kept clogging repetitively is because there was actually a little tube in here. It looked like Teflon or something, but it was missing, and on this one it had it. I took this one apart just to see what was missing, and that's apparently was gone. Personally, on my 3D printer, I printed a few upgrade parts. I printed a few different upgrade parts, including this belt tensioner right here, and fan blade cover, and this blower duct. So speaking of this 3D printer, you're getting a lot for its cost. Just purchasing the 5 stepper motors alone would cost more than the kit itself, which is pretty ridiculous. The most fiddly part about assembling this whole thing was probably the T-slots in the acrylic frame, and also getting these belts to go right. So if you look down here, I have a belt tensioner I printed, and this was because it's so hard to tension these belts. There's literally no way. I've also put right here, I've printed some mounts, and this is actually screwed in my table for structural stability. Also, one thing about the controls is it's a kind of a button tactile switch kind of thing. I'm not a big fan of it, but I would much rather prefer an encoder wheel, but it's really cool. It still works really well though, and it has a pretty nice interface. It is able to be ran through a micro SD card and also through a USB cable, so you can run a Raspberry Pi with Octoprint, an Octoprint server on it, which is a nice feature, and I have done that before. One thing I did wish it did have though was, instead of just a percentage, I wish it also had a time until it's finished printing. It says in Kura, but that time you usually gotta add on another 15 to 30 minutes. Also, I have done some structural support stuff, but up here this frame is pretty shaky actually, but I have put tie downs on the bottom of the 3D printer. The 3D printer is screwed to the workstation right here, here, and then back there. On the hand of cable management, it's a pretty scary situation. I mean, it's really up for you to decide what you want to do with that. One nice thing I do like about it is that the Z-axis has 2 motors to lift it up on either side. This can be a little bit tricky though when you first gotta get it leveled off, but it's a pretty nice feature. I also wish, like the A and the A8, how you're able to put auto leveling on this. You cannot do auto leveling on this. There's thumb screws underneath the bed that you have to auto level it with. So for $100, are you really getting what you paid for? The answer to that question is yeah. You kind of are. In a way, you're getting a little bit more though. You're getting a functional tool that is able to be used, but you gotta be very careful with it. This thing is not something that you're able to carry around, and I actually have it bolted to my desk. So, would I buy it again? Probably, yeah. It's a good 3D printer if you want to get right into 3D printing itself and you just want something at home that you can use. I would totally recommend it. You do have to put in a few hours to assemble it, but the instructions are amazing. They got videos, PDFs, everything that you can need. They're super, super thorough, so it's really nice to assemble. So yeah, that concludes our review of the Startt 3D printer. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Stay creative.